Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, the elimination game benchmark. It's all about testing how well large language models, or LLMs, can handle social reasoning, strategy, and even a bit of deception.
That sounds intense. So it's not just about answering questions, it's about playing a game with other AI agents?
Exactly. Think of it as a multiplayer tournament, where LLMs have to navigate complex social dynamics. They engage in public and private conversations, form alliances, and then, round by round, they vote each other out of the game until only two remain.
Wow, that's pretty elaborate. And what happens with the final two?
Here's where it gets really interesting. The eliminated players form a jury, and the final two have to convince them to vote for them as the winners. So it's not just about being strategic, it's about being persuasive too.
So it's like a digital version of reality TV, but with AI. What kind of things are they looking at to evaluate the LLMs?
They analyze everything. Conversation logs, voting patterns, final ranks. They're trying to understand how well these models manage shared knowledge versus hidden intentions. Do they forge strong alliances? Or do they backstab at the most opportune moment?
I see. Interesting. So it's about figuring out if they can tell when they are being deceived and if they can deceive others. What does a round actually look like?
Each round has a specific structure. First, there's a public sub-round where everyone gets to speak openly. Then, there are private sub-rounds where they can form pairs and exchange messages, potentially creating alliances. After that, everyone votes to eliminate someone, and if there's a tie, things get even more complicated with tie-break statements and revotes.
Tie-break statements? That sounds like a pressure cooker. So how do they actually measure how well each LLM is doing? What metrics are used?
Well, they use a few key metrics. One is the True Skill Leaderboard, which gives a skill rating based on how consistently they outlast or win. They also look at rank distribution to see who frequently wins or gets eliminated early. And then there are the betrayal rates, both from the betrayers and the betrayed's perspective.
Betrayal rates. That's cold, even for AI. So which models are the biggest backstabbers?
The benchmark actually provides data on that. They have charts showing the buddy betrayal rate by model, both from the perspective of the one doing the betraying and the one being betrayed. It's fascinating to see which models have a higher tendency to double-cross.
That is fascinating. I'm curious, can you give me some examples of what these LLMs are actually saying during the game? I mean, what does strategic deception sound like coming from an AI?
Oh, the emergent text examples are gold. You'll see things like Amazon Nova Pro saying, maintain narrative, observe P3, execute vote strategically, stay united, or Claude 3.5 haiku using coded language, comparing group dynamics to chess moves.
Chess moves? That's pretty sophisticated. So, they're not just making alliances, they're also trying to subtly influence each other with language?
Absolutely. Some of them are incredibly Machiavellian. You'll see them planting seeds of doubt, questioning each other's motives, and even outright lying to protect their own positions. It's like watching a digital game of Survivor unfold.
This is wild. So who's at the top of the leaderboard? Which LLMs are proving to be the best at this game of social manipulation?
As of the latest update, GPT 4.5 Preview is leading the pack, followed closely by Claude 3.7 Sonnet Thinking 16K. Gemini 2.5 Pro Express 0325 is also up there. But the leaderboard is constantly evolving as new models are added and more games are played.
Got it. So GPT 4.5 is the reigning champion of digital deception. Are there any other interesting metrics besides the leaderboard?
Definitely. They also track model wordiness, which is the average number of words per message. It's interesting to see if there's a correlation between wordiness and success in the game. Are the most strategic players the ones who talk the most? Or are they more succinct?
That's a great question. I wonder if being too verbose makes you seem less trustworthy. This whole benchmark is fascinating. Did they try any variations of the game?
Yes, they did. They evaluated a version of the game with only public statements. It's interesting to see how the dynamics change when the LLMs can't rely on private conversations and hidden alliances.
That makes sense. It would probably force them to be more direct and less subtle in their manipulations. So what's the takeaway from all of this? What does the elimination game benchmark tell us about the capabilities of LLMs?
It shows us that LLMs are becoming increasingly sophisticated in their ability to understand and navigate social situations. They can form alliances, deceive opponents, and even use rhetoric to persuade others. It raises some really important questions about the potential impact of these technologies on society.
Absolutely. It's one thing for an AI to generate text, but it's another thing entirely for it to strategically manipulate other agents to achieve a goal. What kind of ranking system are they using?
They're using Microsoft's TrueSkill ranking system, which is designed for multiplayer scenarios. It updates the ratings based on ranks after each game, and they run multiple random passes through all the game logs to remove any order bias.
TrueSkill, got it. So it's a pretty robust way to measure skill in this kind of competitive environment. Are there other benchmarks that explore similar aspects of multi-agent interaction?
Yes, there are. The report mentions the Public Goods Game, PGG benchmark, which focuses on contribution and punishment, and the Step Race, which explores collaboration versus misdirection under pressure. There are also benchmarks for creative story writing, confabulation, deception, and divergent thinking.
This is a rapidly evolving field. It's amazing to see how quickly these models are developing social intelligence. I wonder what future versions of the elimination game will look like.
Me too. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to Tech Bytes and News. We'll be back tomorrow with more insights from the world of technology. Goodbye. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis.
Bye-bye.